Ronaldo eyes Juventus exit, Manchester United want a Ligue star, Atletico Madrid eye up Fekir, Kai Havertz might stay, and a transfer roundup coming up in the next few minutes, as I'm your host Matt Folick, here with the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and apparently according to some, well, not so necessarily high reputable reports in Spain, Cristiano Ronaldo is thinking about leaving Juventus. Now, the 35-year-old is still currently in quarantine after a few teammates were diagnosed with the coronavirus, but it's obviously given him quite a bit of time to think about his future, where or where it may not lie. Now, apparently there are two options currently on the table for the Portuguese star. One of them is a dream return, well, for Manchester United fans, to Old Trafford, where he'll surely help them get back to some sort of form of glory and maybe bring in a few trophies or two. And on the other hand, there's the money-spinning move to PSG. Just when you thought Cristiano Ronaldo couldn't be paid any more in weekly wages, he may go and actually move to the French capital. Now, of course, if he moves to PSG, there'll be all this, oh, Cristiano Ronaldo's doing it in yet another league. Unbelievable. Dominating European football. Having said that, he will be moving to PSG, where he can literally sit on the bench for the whole season, have no impact whatsoever, and he'll still win the league. So I'm not quite sure he's actually going to go for that. There were also rumours quite a few weeks ago that David Beckham wanted him to join Inter Miami in the MLS. That I can see happening, maybe in a few years' time. But knowing Cristiano Ronaldo, and having seen Cristiano Ronaldo like the footballing world has for the best part of the last 17 years, surely he's going to take on another challenge, and surely he's not quite done just yet with the Champions League. Now, Manchester United may not be in the Champions League. As you mentioned with PSG, they literally fail in the Champions League every single season beyond anything past the quarter-final stage. So when it comes to Ronaldo, I'm pretty sure he'd stay at Juve. As long as they're challenging in the latter stage of the competition, although they are 1-0 down to Lyon at the moment, I can still see him staying at the club for the moment. Don't rule out a dream return to United or move to the MLS, just maybe not yet. But talking of Manchester United, apparently they are looking at their next priority signing in the transfer window. That being Lille forward Victor Osimhen. The Nigerian forward actually only joined from Belgium last summer, but has made a fantastic impact in the wake of them selling Nicolas Pepe to Arsenal last summer. They needed to replace the goals that Pepe brought, and they've done so. Osimhen has 18 goals in 38 appearances this season, and the 21-year-old seems to be the perfect fit for Manchester United. He's incredibly quick, which suits their counter-attacking football. He's got good strength, he's a brilliant finisher in front of goal, and has all the footwork on both sides to really complement the rest of the Manchester United attack. He's a similar kind of age bracket and style of play to the likes of Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, and all three of them be unbelievable front three. Having said this, there obviously is the case that they've got a few other players in there as well, with Daniel James being another fantastic option. But it also means, what's the future for Odion Ighalo? Now, since joining in January transfer window, he's got 4 goals in 8 games. Now, compared to Osimhen, who still has 4 years left on his contract, so he'd probably cost around 60 to 70 million, Ighalo will only cost 15 million. But then again, Odion Ighalo's 30 years old, and this is what I was talking about the other day when it comes to like players being legends or having sort of legendary status, even though they haven't been there that long or actually done anything that good. Odion Ighalo is another one who fits into that bracket. Yes, it's amazing that they brought him in from China and he's actually turned out to be kind of half decent in Marcus Rashford's absence. But let's be serious, we're looking at the long run here. There is no way the United fans would prefer to have Ighalo over someone like Osimhen. Even though he does cost a lot more, like he's the better player and he's 9 years younger. Ighalo, it's kind of funny that he's scoring against maybe some weaker teams, but when it comes to the serious games, if United hope to get back into the Champions League and then go far in the Champions League, surely they need some serious players up front. Anyway, Marcus Rashford, obviously with him being injured, Ighalo is a good stopgap, but for the future, I definitely think Osimhen would be a fantastic signing for the Red Devils. Not throwing any shade there on Ighalo, by the way, but if United didn't have this injury problem, he'd still be playing in China. So you can kind of see where I'm coming from. Anyway, moving on and to next story, where Atletico Madrid apparently eyeing up not only Nabil Fekir, but his Betis teammate Sergio Canales. Now, this is a rather interesting story because Atletico Madrid this whole season have been good defensively, as you'd expect from a Diego Simeone team, but going forward, they've been absolutely woeful. I mean, the fact they managed to score 3 goals at Anfield is nothing short of a miracle. As I mentioned, defensively, they've got the second best defence in La Liga. But going forward, they've got the second worst out of the top 9 teams. There is no way they're going to be challenging for a Champions League position or even the title with that kind of form in front of goal. If you look at their striking options, you've got Alvaro Morata, who's got 8 this season. Right, you've got Correa, who's got 5, João Felix with 4, and Diego Costa with 2. Altogether, Quick maths, that comes up to 19. There are strikers in Europe who have more goals by themselves than the front four of Atletico Madrid do. It's clear that they're in quite a sticky situation. So whilst I think Nabil Fekir and Canales are both brilliant players, both experienced players, both can chip in with a few goals here and there, they're still on the creative side of things. I'm not necessarily sure, although obviously it's always a great thing when you can create more chances. I'm not necessarily sure that should be the prime transfer target for Atletico Madrid. They need a goal scorer. They need to get rid of Costa, no matter how much he fights people and shows a good lot of spirit and is literally Diego Simeone in a player. And they need to get Alvaro Morata, who, well, he can have quite good games like we've seen, but just generally isn't consistent enough. If they do that, then I'm sure the likes of Thomas Lamar, Koke, Saul, you've also got João Felix, of course. Carrasco's been brought back to the club. I'm sure they can provide enough chances for a top goal scorer to put them into the back of the net. Plus, besides, there's no way that Betis are going to sell their two top attacking midfielders. If they do, it'll literally be absolute panic stations for them. I mean, I know they're far off European football, and that's basically part of why the two players may leave, but surely they're not going to let both of them go. And talking of players who actually might not be leaving their club, Kai Havertz. Now, we've spoken about him a lot recently because it looked, for all intents and purposes, that this would be his last season at Bayer Leverkusen. Manager Peter Bosz was saying that over 100 million euros would do the trick to sign up the German wonderkid, and that was all well and good until coronavirus interrupted. Now, of course, we're still waiting to see when the season will be finished, but we spoke last week about the effects the coronavirus is having on the transfer market. Because so many clubs are being hit with so many financial problems because of the lack of football, it means that a lot of European clubs won't necessarily be able to muster up all the money to pay such extortionate transfer fees. Whereas you're looking at the likes of potentially Liverpool, Manchester City, of course, have got the money, and a few others. They've definitely got money to spare, but they'll probably put it into running the club for the future and not necessarily paying 100 to 130 million on a new superstar. I'm not saying those guys are going to go out of business. They're still very, very rich. PSG, Juventus, Bayern, Barca, Real, they've still got a load of money, but there just may not be so much going around in transfer fees this summer. The problem with this is that then, because so many clubs, especially a few of the ones who aren't necessarily mega rich, well, they'd be expected almost to accept a lower transfer fee because they need to keep their clubs afloat. This is where Bayer Leverkusen are going to have to draw the line. So whereas they're hoping for 100 to 120, 30 million for Havertz, they don't want to accept 60, 70 because they know when all football is back to normal, they've got an unbelievable player who will definitely command an unbelievable transfer fee. Therefore, he may be staying at Leverkusen for just one more season yet. In all honesty, it's not necessarily a bad thing. He's going to be 21 next season, so still literally with so many years ahead of him. He'll get another season of first-team regular football in the top division in Germany. There's not really too much that can go wrong unless he gets a horrific injury. So last but not least, a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news. The Sky Sports are reporting that Declan Rice could be rejoining Chelsea. They say that because he spent most of his career at the Blues before moving to West Ham and making his breakthrough in the Premier League. Manchester City interested in Brescia's 19-year-old midfielder Sandro Tonali. When Edinson Cavani's contract runs out at the end of this season, he could be on his way to Argentina to join Boca Juniors. And Newcastle United are hoping to make Danny Rose's loan from Spurs a permanent one when the transfer window opens. So there you have it. That's all from me for today. Make sure you smash the like button down below and let me know your thoughts on all of the day's daily news, especially all of the transfer bits that may or may not be going on. Whilst you're at it, you can smash that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we'll be entertaining you with for the next few weeks. As always, make sure you wash your hands, stay safe, and until next time, I will see you guys later.